Thank you for the invite, David, and everyone from Lava Studios, and everyone for coming. So when I got approached by David to have a talk here, I was really unsure what to talk about, because I never really talk about my practice, because we were talking about like the differences between working back in Czech Republic or working here, and kind of how to talk about that. And I realized I've never really even thought about or even talked about my practice as a whole. It was always just like one project or here and there. So I thought it's also maybe quite a nice challenge for myself to kind of sum up just like my work and my practice, and kind of look at work in general in a more broader context. And while digging into my life and work, I found out that actually I've been working for 20 years, and this is an amazing greeting card I got from Nick and Dan. So thank you, guys. And let's celebrate, because this is a celebration. Basically, this year is a celebration year of my being on a job market for 20 years. So my first job was when I was 11 in 2005. This is where I grew up. And the first job was here. I used to walk neighbor's son to kindergarten every morning. It was amazing. I really loved it. He was also very sweet. And I earned around €4 per week. And it was very mind-blowing for me, because I was able to gain some sort of freedom or a sense of independence, and I could buy magazines that my parents wouldn't like to buy, or ice cream. And that was kind of a breaking point in my career, and the first time I understood what capitalism meant, and it really changed me. So after that, I did many different small jobs. For example, I worked in some theaters as in a cloakroom, or as a person who checks tickets, or these small jobs that I did next to high school usually. Then I had a longer period of working in this cafe, which probably Prague audience might recognize. It's quite a big cafe / pub in Prague, where I really liked working at. And also it was a place that where I could also save up some of the money for the first time. So I actually saved up for my first laptop, which was also like a huge deal. First MacBook, and that also actually led to my first paid graphic design job. And it's also very interesting, because I was doing this detective work sort of when I was preparing this presentation, and I found out I did first graphic design job 10 years ago. So it's very good that this presentation is happening this year actually. And so at this cafe place, I also was asked by the owner to make very simple design elements, like a menu card or poster here and there. So this was really like a first gig I had in the industry, and which leads me to kind of how I'm gonna continue talking in this presentation, and how I'm sorting out sort of my practice into two halves, which one half is sort of like something that I call my job, and then there's the side job, which I found out, well, I kind of knew it, but I wasn't, I was quite surprised to find out anyway that I'm always balancing between those two, since I've been working as a graphic designer. So I thought I can also just go through kind of quickly through those past 10 years and just show always one project per year, and kind of see there on the top what was kind of the ratio of my incomes, what was the side job and what was my job. So in the beginnings, you can clearly see it was mainly the side job that paid my rent, and this was such a long time ago. I did this poster for a friend's theater play, which was kind of a sci-fi utopian, really fun theater. Next year, 2017, I think is not. The chart is moving a little bit, so there was a bit more work I started doing. This was, for example, an exhibition series in Prague I worked on with friends from Brno, Temporary Zone Collective, and it was also really fun. And now looking at it, it looks very outdated, but back then it was like pre-AI, so we were all kind of blown away by what the AI could do to the imagery we fed it with. So yeah, this was also very cool. Then the next year was, for example, this under a theater play that I did visuals for, and this one was especially fun because I could be more as an art director, so I was also taking all those photos and working on a movie that was a part of the theater play. Yeah, and next to it I still had my cafe bar jobby. And then 2019 is when I swapped the side jobs. It's also when I graduated from my bachelor's, and I really wanted to have like a proper full-time graphic design job, but I also kept receiving more commissions and jobs, so I was trying to combine these two, which turned out to be a bit of a hassle, but 2019 was when I was trying to balance this. So I was working full-time, and then during night shifts and weekends I was working on my other jobs. So this was, for example, a book that I did in collaboration with Aleš Čermák, a really great artist who always, I really always love collaborating with him because he's very, even though his topics are super deep and heavy, the collaboration is always super smooth. Then there was, in comparison, like a very, the first book was very artsy, and this one was very like a thick, huge, big architecture book. So like a first big book I made in collaboration with Terezie Štindlová, also a great designer. And it was about Hotel Praha, which was one of the buildings that, so for many reasons, Czech or maybe also Slovak government kind of tears down a lot of brutalist architecture, which was built during a communist regime. And one of them was this really amazing, huge hotel. So yeah, this was basically a book about the context of it, and was very interesting. And that's also when I was still working at this studio. And then it became more and more dense. I was getting more and more commissions, and I worked together with my friend Bara on this photograph festival, which was my friend who I later on established a studio day shift office with. And this was kind of our first big like extensive commission, but we both have full-time jobs at this point, so we are really like overworking each other, and even though I'm happy with the result, I know that the process was quite intense. So that was also the time when we decided to really start the like a full-time studio together, so we can always support each other and work together on most of our commissions. But also keep ourselves sane somehow. So we also wrote very simple manifesto of work, how we want to kind of do it and not go crazy. And it is very simple and just about like very, very easy rules, just like not working night shifts and really like try to work sustainably in this sense. Which was so, and then 2020 was when I quit that graphic design studio because it was really getting too much and hard to do everything. And here you can see on the chart that it's like kind of a 50-50. So I had quite a lot of commissions on my own, but then I still had to have some sort of other financial support. So I was working in this newspaper for a few months. And yeah, and then I did, for example, this book, Pollution Diaries, which is also a very favorite project of mine by Veronika Reslova. And she basically collected these diary entries by people that live in Delhi, in India. And I think it's a very powerful book because it's super simple. Like the diary entries are very, very low-key and just about daily life, but they are somehow explaining the very, very bad and worsening weather and pollution situation in Delhi. And then I had another side job in a bistro It was also very nice place. So I worked there as a sushi sandwich maker, and then and then I kept doing like smaller commissions, usually like culture based. So like album cover or theater poster or exhibition poster, and kind of combining all this. Then 2021, I don't know, I didn't like know this before, but it was so interesting to go through these archives again, because there was like a big jump. Like suddenly the incomes are mainly my commissions and just a little bit of a side job. So I did, for example, this book. I collaborated with Adela Sobodova on this one, and it was a book by Kača Olivová, who's a very famous intense artist, and she raises a lot of emotions, I feel, but she's great. And this book was her collection of interviews with families and just people, anybody around motherhood. And I wanted the book to feel a bit like her, but to still kind of use the technology of bookmaking and not overstepping it too much, but like trying what the limits are. So for example, the cover of the book is very squishy and has very like a weird textile on it, and there's also some silk screen inside, which made the book, when you open it, it made it kind of stick together, so it seems a bit like a milk was spilled on it. Yeah, maybe I will skip this. It's like so many so many things. This is another collaboration I was working on with Aleš Čermák, like event-based series of events he organized. Still the bistro next to it, and then there was this festival that I worked on with Bara, with Day Shift Office, which was called We Are All Emotional, and it was still in the middle of pandemic, or maybe like by the end of pandemic, and I felt everybody was quite on the edge with their lives and everything, and emotional. So I thought, or we thought, that it would be good to make the identity a little bit like slightly aggressive, or a bit make some details that make you feel a bit uncomfortable. You can't really see it well, but the colors were very not comfortable to watch. And then we also made the organizers team use a lot of exclamation marks and question marks to do the communication. So it was quite good that they really went along with it. And then it was 2022 when I moved here, and I was looking for, I definitely still kept a lot of my clients back from home, but I also wanted to explore what I could do here. But I was quite lucky that I got approached by the company WeTransfer, so I did have a side job there every now and then. So that really was nice, because it gave me quite some financial stability to relocate here and pay higher rent. And this is next to it. I was doing, for example, this exhibition series Beyond Nuclear Family. I did this with Oriol Kabarokas. Maybe Zuzana will talk about later. It was a series, and the first exhibition was in Prague, then in Berlin, then New York. And it was about different ways of looking at future of family, and how different kind of groups of people can live together and grow together, and that it doesn't have to be this traditional way only. Then 2023, the incomes, this is a bit interesting, because when I look at this year, I feel like I've been only working on my projects, and I mentally hardly feel like I've been working at WeTransfer, but it is still half of my income. So it was interesting to find out. And next to it, I did, for example, this exhibition also with Bara as a Day Shift Office, and it was an exhibition about this really cool artist that hasn't been super well known, but is getting more and more recognizable. And this was, I believe, her first really big, like a retrospective. And she used to work mainly with sculpture, and she used a very tough material, like concrete. So we wanted the visual to be kind of bold, but still a little bit fragile, because she also worked a lot with like thin paper and like kind of a poetic way. And yeah, the catalog we also kind of treated as a sort of a block of concrete. So like all the paragraphs are very dense and all the spreads are super crowded. Yeah, back then still side job, WeTransfer, and main job. For example, this album cover for a women-led choir. It's a group of women that sing traditional Slavic songs, and they try to somehow bring it to a contemporary music scene. So it's very, I don't know, something about it I really enjoyed. And then maybe as a last project, I can show 2024, and it also goes to current times, is a long-term collaboration with Alarm, which is probably also Prague-based audience will know it. It's like a biggest lefty media over there. And they are, so we did a whole redesign of their visual identity and website. And it was also really, I mean, it's quite intense work, but I'm quite happy with it because I really think they were trying to be taken more seriously, because they come from a more like a little bit like a punk socialist scene, but they are really like a serious media. So I think it was quite important for me to like help somebody become more recognizable and serious, sort of. And they also do publish really nice books. They have a translation series now, so I'm also glad that I can work on that. And yeah, that's something that I work on now, today, for actually. And until now, it's quite it's quite interesting, because yeah, till now I do have side jobs. I have my job still is prevailing, but let's see what the year brings. But I think I think for me it was quite nice to do this. When I was preparing this presentation, I also just realized how I want to maybe demystify this whole thing of having more than one job, because I really think I don't know that many designers around me that would really just do one type of thing. And it was good to do these preparations, because I could see some progress maybe, or similar patterns. For example, every beginning of the year I start stressing out because I don't have enough work, and then I start stressing out because I have too much work. So yeah, I just have to get used to it, I guess. I think that's it. Yeah. If there are any questions.